Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you're joining us today in today's live lecture from Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University. Today's date is Eke Market Day in the 10th month of the Igbo lunar calendar called Onwa Okike. In Igbo calendar, Onwa Ajana will begin tomorrow, Oye. And today's date in the Roman Catholic calendar is November 30, 2024. Thank you for joining us today at Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University, where we encourage you to always use your naturally given common sense called akonuche to evaluate issues before you make a decision. Also, if the American media, the Chinese media, Japanese, European, Indian, Arab media, Russian, and other media outfits present issues to protect their races, so also we at Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University package lectures and present it to you from the ego eye of a Biafran and African. That is how you, as a Biafran and African, should be seeing things that is going on across the world and interpret them as such a way as to benefit you. And so the title of today's lecture is the United Nations Climate Change Control Conference called COP29TH 2024, which was held from November 11 to November 22nd, 2024 in Baku, Azerbaijan, and how it affects you Biafran, you African, you colored people. That's the lecture for today. And before we begin, we have to encourage you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms. Also, comment, like, share, so that it will get to everybody. Because this lecture is important for all of us. Before we delve into the lecture, we have to give you the origin of this United Nations Climate Change Conference. How did it start? It started as a United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change called UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, also called Earth Summit, which was held in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil from the 3rd to 14th of June, 1992, to curtail what they call greenhouse gases concentration in the atmosphere. How to cut down the what they call greenhouse concentration in the atmosphere. And this meeting that they call COP29, actually, the first meeting was held in 1995 in Berlin. So from Berlin, they've been From 1995 in Berlin, they've been holding every year. And this one that ended in Baku, Azerbaijan, from November 11 to 22nd was the 29th. That was why they called it COP29. And you remember, Nkola Mahadum wants you to be following what is going on around the world, how all the organizations are operating and how their operation is either affecting you or not. So that is another reason why we are presenting this lecture to you, so that you understand what transpired in that meeting and what you should do. And so going forward, what are the greenhouse gases? The greenhouse gases are gases that raise the surface temperature of the earth. The gases that you sometimes hear global warming. You know, global warming, what you have to do. Yes, they say that the greenhouse gases are the gases that increase the temperature of the earth, that make the temperature of the earth to be warmer. Example of greenhouse gases are water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, ozone, hydrofluorocarbons, and chlorofluorocarbons, to mention a few. It is on record that Industrial Revolution increased carbon dioxide by 50%. The Industrial Revolution in Europe, where they developed how to use machines to produce things and to produce different things and to, increased the carbon dioxide by 50% and also methane by 150%. Remember, carbon dioxide emissions causes 3/4 of global warming. Carbon dioxide production causes 3/4 of global warming. So carbon dioxide is the main thing that causes global warming. And that is why we are going to focus on carbon dioxide. Now, what causes carbon dioxide emissions in the world? About 90% of the world's carbon emission came from burning of fossil fuels. 90%, because carbon dioxide causes 3/4 of the global warming. And we want to know, what are those things causing carbon dioxide, producing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? Those things include burning of fossil fuels, which is mainly like when you want to produce electricity, heat, and transport. So going deeper, you find out that coal contributes about 40%. You know that we use coal to produce electricity and other things, right? When you are burning that coal, it contributes 40% to the carbon dioxide emission on the planet, on this earth. Also, oil, the fuel we use in the vehicle and the gases we use in the vehicles and in the airplanes and in the in the vehicles also contributes 32% of the carbon dioxide. Also, natural gas. We use natural gas for cooking, and now we're also using it for driving, for transportation, right? It causes 21% of the carbon dioxide. Other causes of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere include cement, 5%. Flaring and others. Flaring is where they are burning gas. That's called flaring. It also contributes about 2%. And this statistics was done in 2022. Now, what are the regions of the world that is producing more carbon dioxide in the world? What we have is that most of the regions that produce many of this carbon dioxide include China. China produces 31%, USA 14%, EU 7%, and India 7%. These are the regions. But industrialized countries, which constitute 20% of the world population, produces 80% of the carbon dioxide in the world. Who are the industrialized countries? The industrialized countries include North America. So when you come to North America, you have America and Canada. And then Europe, all these countries in Europe, including Russia, Britain, France, Germany, Portugal, Belgium, all those countries in Europe, right? Especially Western Europe, right? And they go to Asia. You know, even though Japan is classified as a developing country, but China is also classified as a developing country, not developed. But China at this time also produces the highest, even though they're still classified as developed. And so you can see that most of this carbon dioxide we have in the atmosphere are produced by the industrialized countries that manufacture vehicles, aeroplanes, set up manufacturing companies that manufacture so many things we use in the world, oil companies. If you see where oil is refined, you can see all the smoke they always produce, all the pollutions from oil manufacture, refining. Remember also they produce the ships and then the cookings we do here and there, everywhere. All this contributes to the global warming. And that is why that conference was set up. What we have to do to stop or prevent global warming. And at the end of that conference, the rich nations, those that call themselves the rich nations, they pledged $300 billion. It's a pledge. $300 billion annually, that they'll be paying $300 billion annually to help to stop or to ameliorate the global warming against the $1 trillion being requested by what they call the developing nations. This is interesting. And so, Nkola Mahadum want to render some advice to these countries they call developing nations. It is time for you to find another means of doing things, because all the lifestyles that we are living are what is actually causing this global warming. People drive cars, own and drive cars. People own and fly airplanes. People manufacture things for other people to buy. Oil companies refine and pollute the atmosphere. The ships carry loads here and there, and other human activities. Why can't we find another means of doing things? Why should the rich nations be bringing $300 billion to minimize the effect of their production on the earth, instead of doing the needful? Cut down on production. How can you say that you are bringing money, but you can still, decrease the vehicles you are producing, decrease the airplanes you are producing, decrease the oil you are refining, because all these things go along with capitalism. Everybody wants to make much money. So cut down. If you cut down on production, cut down on production of those things. Cutting down on production is the main activity that should be done to decrease global warming. Another way to decrease global warming is to change our way of life. Instead of having people migrate, having people transport every time to here and there, we have to change the way we are living, change the way we are doing things. Allow countries to develop on their own. If every country is developed, there will be no need for somebody to migrate to another place. Also, the way we develop our economies, let us develop our economies in such a way that things are redistributed across line. If things are redistributed across line, then people will have no need to be, driving long distances to their work or to market or to other things. So lifestyle modification will be a way to help to ameliorate the warming of the earth. This is very important. And so that is why Nkola Mahaloum has chosen this lecture to present it to you, for you to understand that this United Nations Climate Change Control Conference held in Baku from November 11 to 22 did not achieve much. It did not achieve much because after all said and done, the $300 billion they have pledged is just a pledge. They may not even pay it. And the earth will continue to be polluted, and the warming will continue, the destruction will continue, and next year they're going to have another conference, and the same process will undergo. So it doesn't make any sense. So because we say we're going to be cutting things short here, but before we do, I have to beg you again to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, like our lectures, comment, and share it. Share it to everybody. So what you have to take away from today's lecture is that the United Nations Climate Change Control Conference held from November 11 to 22 in Baku, Azerbaijan, in 2024, came out short of expectation because the green gas are being produced mainly by the industrialized countries, the one they call industrialized countries, which means they are the one producing the goods and services, most of the goods that other people are using. And now they are just pledging $300 billion annually. It's a pledge. And so that is insufficient. What they should do is to cut down on production. Cut down on production of vehicles, airplanes, and warplanes. Decrease manufacturing activity so people can eat something natural. Oil companies should decrease their oil production because it pollutes the environment. And people should find another means of living. There are some Biafrans that have discovered how to generate electricity with water, how to power machines with water. So we have to change to another way of life. We have to modify our life. That's how to save the earth. But if we continue with this manufacturing of things based on the fossil fuel, and then coming to say you are giving pledging money to stop it, without going to the source, we are deceiving ourselves. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture to an end. But before we do, I have to advise you again to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter and Facebook, like our lectures, comment, and share it to everybody. Because this lecture is packaged to you. That's how you have to see it as a Biafran and as an African. Don't just be following whatever they say. You say yes, no. We have to think outside the box. Always think outside the box. Because that is the only way to come out from the current situation and make lives better for humans. Otherwise, humans will self-destroy this earth. As we are going, if things are not changed, human beings will self-destroy the earth we live in, and we don't want it to happen. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture. Thank you very much for joining me, and have a great day. Thank you.